Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my annual video giving you all some great picks to watch to celebrate this year's Earth Day. So for the last couple of years, I have done these videos where I give suggestions related to environmental and or animal issues that you can go ahead and watch to celebrate Earth Day. Usually that kind of coincides with a Disney nature release. This year there was supposed to be a film coming out, but I don't see any publicity for it. I haven't really heard of it since seeing that initial announcement and the trailer. And looking around, I actually don't think it's going to be coming out for Earth Day 2018. So it's especially important for this video to go ahead, bring awareness to the film community regarding Earth Day, which, if you weren't aware, is April 22nd. So for this video, I have kind of categories of recommendations to give out, so we're going to begin with animation. And animation has proven to be a great vehicle, actually, over time, that really does hit home with conservation. They really do a great job of telling these stories about the environment, about animals, about our planet, and I love that. I love that we are really putting those into entertaining stories for the entire family. So this year, I decided to highlight one of my personal favorite Pixar films and go with WALL-E. So not only does WALL-E very heavily depict what happens if we don't get our act together and take care of the planet, but it's also a super adorable, super lovely love story. It's a nice romance featuring two really adorable little robots. But clearly, it depicts an inhabitable planet Earth thanks to the habits that humans continue to push forward with. Now we're all morbidly obese blobs sitting on this spaceship, completely enabled to take care of ourselves and have nowhere to go because we've ruined the one planet that we had. And WALL-E makes it his mission to hold on to this one little piece of greenery and actually preserve human history. It's a lovely story. The message is very clear, but that romance really adds an extra spark to it. And it doesn't deal with any of the issues outright. I don't think it is real heavy-handed in the issues. It creates this world that conveys its message and puts in a really entertaining story to go along with that. For live action, my recommendation this year is a little film called Whispers. So I actually don't own this film, which is a little bit of a shock to me, and I don't think it's actually that good of a movie. It's not like quality filmmaking, but I absolutely loved it as a child. I still think it is an adorable, adorable movie about this little baby elephant who is separated from his herd because of poaching. And he kind of teams up with this rogue female elephant that's out on her own. And, you know, they build a bond, they build a friendship, and try to escape and survive amongst this poaching landscape. Again, the message is very clear here, what it's conveying, what it's showing, but it gives these elephants so much personality. And we follow around a pretty real tribe of elephants. It's like real footage, but they kind of voice over the animals. The little mouths don't talk or anything. It's kind of like a telepathic understanding of what these little animals are saying. But it's so cute, it's so heartwarming, it really pulls at those tug strings, and it's definitely one of my favorites from my childhood. So go ahead, give it a watch if you've never seen it or never heard of it. I would love to hear if maybe new people joining the club think it's as cute as I hold it in my heart, but give it a try. So for documentary feature film, I'm giving the suggestion of The Whale. So this was actually executive produced, like funded by Scarlett Johansson and Ryan Reynolds. And Ryan Reynolds also narrates. It's about this little whale who kind of gets stuck in this cove and everybody there loves him. And it's a battle between getting him out, helping him relocate and find his pod, and also making sure that human interference, no matter how well-hearted it is and how nice these people accept this little whale, don't end up hurting him. It's actually a beautiful story. It's beautifully shot and narrated by Ryan Reynolds. It is obviously a true story, and I just found it really endearing, really well made. So check that one out. As for documentary series, we go back to the BBC like we normally do because they tend to produce the highest of quality. I'm going with their latest feature that is now out on Blu-ray, on DVD, so of course I picked it up, and that is Blue Planet 2. So I'm going to be taking my own recommendation, actually, and really watching through, because I haven't seen all of Blue Planet 2. I've had it for a little bit, but as you know, these take a while to get through, so. But I absolutely love the first Blue Planet, and there is so much ocean that we haven't even begun to explore. So I'm excited to further delve myself into the stories of the deep blue that our planet holds. You know it's going to be quality. You know that it's going to be absolutely gorgeous and stunning. It's narrated by David Attenborough, who obviously is a legend at this already. So I'm going to be binge watching that on Earth Day, I think. And if you have yet to see it, it's available on home entertainment. So why don't you try to binge watch it with me? As for a Disney nature film, since I don't believe we're going to be getting dolphins this coming weekend, I thought I would recommend one that they've released in previous years for you to go ahead and check out, and that is going to be African Cats. I think the Disney nature line is so fantastic. What a great thing that Disney releases these films almost annually, and they donate portions of the opening weekend proceeds to a charity that directly helps the animal depicted in the film and the environment in which they live. So it's definitely a tradition of mine. If they do release a film, I have to go see it that opening weekend and try to at least see it 2 times during its first week when those proceeds are donated. But it's also just a great way, again, like the animated sector and even really most of the live action films, to introduce kids and families into the world that we live in and kind of get you invested, get you involved. And these ones really help you connect with real life situations and animals in a way that children can attain and get involved in. As for African Cats itself, I think this may be the most tension-filled of all of the Disney nature films. We follow these different big cat families over in Africa, in particular a lion and a cheetah, and really just their struggles. And I think this one is really nice to see because we're following predators, and it really kind of helps put everything into perspective of the circle of life. Of course, we have things like the Lion King, but they don't depict the actual hunting. And I think seeing predators fighting for their lives and fighting for the lives of their young ones, of their babies, and for their families and their prides and their groups is a really good thing for kids to see. I think Samuel L. Jackson is having a lot of fun narrating, and I think he does actually a very good job with narration. The story is very interesting. Of course, it's beautiful, as they all are, and I think it's one of the more entertaining watches for the Disney nature line. So I definitely think it's one to sit down and enjoy with your family to kind of introduce them to Earth Day as a holiday. And now for my recommendation for what you might be able to see in the movie theaters. This year is particularly a little bit difficult. Again, we don't have a Disney nature film coming out, I don't believe. But there definitely are films out. It's just not really any of them have a good conservation message to my knowledge. And only a couple of them feature animals. So my personal recommendation is a little bit of a stretch, but I'll explain it. And that's going to be Sergeant Stubby, an American Hero. This is an animated film that follows this little dog who goes from being a stray to being named a sergeant in the United States military during World War I. So not only is this movie absolutely adorable, it has a great script. I think it is really well executed, and it comes from a smaller studio, so I hope you support it anyway. But the reason I would recommend this for Earth Day this year is, again, for empathy reasons. To show not only children, but also adults, this amazing story of what dogs are capable of. The empathy that dogs hold, the empathy that animals hold in general, and what they're able to do, what they're able to learn, and how valuable they are to us. And I think telling these stories really helps to elevate what we think when we think of animals, whatever the species may be. So it's a great film in general, and I think it really depicts an animal story beautifully and would make for a very nice family trip to the theater for Earth Day. And if you've been wondering, looking at my shirt, these are not polka dots, they are little flamingos. So rocking that animal pride for my Earth Day video here. But those are my recommendations to go ahead, celebrate Earth Day. So shut off all those lights, conserve all that water, make sure you're putting into the compost and into the recycling bin, and sit down and use a little bit of electricity to go ahead and actually celebrate the holiday with any of these picks, or what films that revolve around conservation, around animals, do you personally enjoy? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!